See, for me, this is what real self-inquiry is. This is how it came to me to do self-inquiry. It's about diving in to the subconscious to make things more conscious. The reason I say darkness is because those are the things that we want to look at so that they dissolve, so that then the lightness is more apparent. Now, when I first started getting into self-inquiry years ago, the way it was being done, at first I was like, oh, that's cool. See, I respected the essence of the self-inquiry. I liked the part where it was focusing on, like, whatever you see, you're not that. The consciousness is the one that's perceiving it. The consciousness is formless. So actually, this whole human show mechanism is an apparent, you can say, image happening inside the consciousness. I liked that. But then I saw later, the mind, this is how clever the mind and ego is. It was using that as a way to bypass this more unpleasant work, which is what this video is about. Diving into the darkness. Delving into it, not diving. There's a difference. And scholars know. So the way I do, because this is how it's used as an excuse, and this is what happens in the Advaita category, non-duality and self-inquiry. I don't remember the comment because it was so silly, but I wish I could. Oh, he's making fun of Buddha and Jesus and all the greats. He's like, they're all like doing all this tapas and austerities and practices, and they don't realize like none of that really exists anyway. Can you imagine how the mind, the ego mind of some spiritually immature person will actually convince itself that it actually knows more than the greats? Yeah, it does this all the time. So I tried to ride that train too, of trying to just bypass everything. It just didn't last long. Somehow my conscious, I couldn't fool myself like that. I'm like, this just doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. I can say all day long that these tendencies that I had toward doing certain inauspicious things, that they really don't exist and it really doesn't matter. And there you go. It's fine. I'm still the consciousness. Well, no, but I would still pay the price emotionally and mentally for those tendencies and acting on those tendencies, because they carry a certain low vibration. So on human level of experience, I'd have to pay that price. That's the part, like, I realized, like, well, you can't bypass that away. Like, there's no way. Like, don't you see you can't do that? And so the way I started doing self-inquiry, it kind of morphed into what I'm going to try to share now, which is, and see, it's combined with bhakti. Bhakti's more of a surrender. The two go together. You can't just do one and not the other. They consolidate at a certain point for somebody who has been doing this for a while. It's automatic, you know. I would see there'd be a certain tendency toward a certain thought stream that I knew is like, this thought stream, or engaging in that thought stream, or these particular tendencies, like, they're not good. Not forget good and bad, but they're not becoming of me. They're not putting me into the highest place in myself, which I have a natural inborn instinct to want to be in. We all do. I can't like access that when I'm engaging in these defects of character and shortcomings and low vibrational things. Like, I can't access my higher state when I'm in that. Okay, let's look into it now. Yeah, this is my self-inquiry. Let's look into this. I feel the urge or tendency to do this. It's not enough just to say, hey, I see the urge and I'm not the urge. See, people want to stop there and they imagine they're doing something. They're actually going deeper into darkness. That's cool, because at some point, it's like they say at the Ganga River, the whirlpool takes you under, going into death. If you just chill, which I don't know anybody that can, you start panicking, then it'll throw you back up. So same thing. When we keep spiraling downward into ignorance, at some point we're going to hit some bottom. And then these realizations will come, because God's coded it like that. Like we can't miss. So I started looking at these things. I'm like, all right, I see the urge and tendency. It's like an energetic charge to go do something, like to do something that's inauspicious, like, or look at something, or just whatever, fill in the blank. It's like everybody can do this. We all got our thing, right? 'Cause we're human beings, certain addictions and attachments and just whatever. So I'd see, like, okay, it's wanting you to go in that direction. Yeah, but I don't want to go in that direction though. Like, I don't want to do it. Yeah, you do. Something wants to go. See, being aware of all that. Something wants to go into it. Higher part don't want to go into it. The feeling that the higher part's losing, he's losing the game because I'm like going into it. The justification and rationalization the mind comes up with, okay, I'm just going to do it one more time. Yeah, people say that for lifetimes. One more time. Being aware of all that. Watching myself like go into it. Watching myself get a little high from doing it. Watching myself pay the price afterwards for doing it. Because it's like a energetic payment I have to pay now. Seeing how I don't like the energetic payment, right? Watching the criticism. It's not so much guilt and shame. This is also why a lot of people don't want to do this practice, this looking and delving into the darkness, because they feel guilt and shame. It's because, like, you take your human self so serious, man. It's not. God's playing as ignorance, and then God's going to play as waking up, but they're both delusional. Deep sleep, where's the awakening and where's the ignorance? There is none. This is our true state. Okay. So being aware of all that whole process, and then waiting a few days, not engaging into whatever the inauspicious thing was. Oh, my life force is starting to come back now. Vibration's starting to raise. Cool. Uh-oh. The self-sabotage mechanism's coming again. The situation, the dark forces are creating the circumstance again to pull me back into it. Okay, now I feel the urge to do it again. Yeah, but wait a minute, you just did it. Like, you did it however long ago, and you remember the whole process? Remember, you do it, and then it sucks, and then you say you're never going to do it again, and then here you are again. How many times are you going to have to keep repeating this? Feeling the powerlessness over that whole process, that whole game. I'll be like, yeah, damn, like, really? Yeah, I know. Like, really? Am I going to do it again? Here's the saving grace. I got to where I was like, maybe I'll do it again. Maybe I'll do it forever. I knew I wouldn't do it forever. I knew there would be some break at some point and some transcendence. I didn't know when, though. I didn't know how long this was going to take. Some things are stickier than others. They can go on for years. They won't go on for lifetimes, though, if you're onto it. If you're watching this video and you understand what I'm saying, and you do this kind of introspection, you're going to win. You're going to win, because, like, you're conscious. You can only, unconsciousness, if you're being conscious, unconsciousness can't last too long. It can last a hell of a long time, though, when you're doing the spiritual bypass. Remember, I went to Osho Ashram in Pune 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I don't know. It's funny. When you get older, it's like, what's the difference? 5 years or 10 years? Like, it doesn't matter. But I went there, and I'm not going to get into the whole, that's the other thing. People, they look at the internet and think they know something. No, he did this, and you don't know what he did. Were you there? Were you there watching what these people that you think are no good did? Were you actually there? And you know what? Even if the people were there, I still don't trust them. because their interpretation is going to be all screwed up. They can't take in all the angles and stuff. So you see why I don't pay attention to most people's passionate ideas about other things or people. They can't be trusted. You gotta be at a certain level of consciousness to where I'm like, okay, I might listen to what this person said. But I was there, and they were. You could buy like condoms, different colored condoms, at the concession store, because everything is tantra, free love, tantra. Yeah, it's Shiva Shakti, spiritual. I mean, the place just downgraded into like. I lasted like 30 minutes, I think. I'm like, geez, this is a long bus ride back to Rishikesh. All right, whatever. Better than staying here. So, yeah. So I was saying, people who are honest enough to admit that they're powerless. Remember the example I gave? Watching the dark thing comes. I do it, paying attention to all that, watching. It's like I'm just powerless over doing what my higher, wiser self knows I shouldn't do. That is much higher level than those who imagine that they are doing some spiritual thing, but really they're just going deeper into their addictions and habits. Yeah, that's the point I want to drive home. But in summary, that's what self-inquiry is for me. This is what works for me. Seeing all that. And yeah, at the same time, you can recognize that, okay, this is still part of the human show and it doesn't really exist on a permanent level. That's fine. But for most people, that understanding is purely intellectual. And you can't neglect the human side of things. I mean, you can for a while, but at some point you have to face it. We signed up for this game. We got to follow the rules and the laws to some degree, which means do high vibrational things and not low vibrational things. But there's some kind of power. When I admitted, intruders coming, that I was really powerless over this whole thing, this whole spiraling downward thing that I was watching myself get into. Hey, how's it going, man? When I saw that I didn't have the will of what it took to step over these powerful tendencies, when I would watch myself do it, and then I'm like, I'm powerless. I'm even praying too at the same time. I'm like, I don't have the power to stop doing this. God, I don't know. I believe you have the power, but I don't know how to access it. I don't know what to do. I want to stop doing this, but I can't stop doing it, seemingly. So I guess I'm just gonna keep doing it until I'm gonna keep being open to getting the power to stop doing it. In the meantime, while I'm doing it though, because like, what choice do I have? I saw that I didn't have any choice. This is freedom. This is freedom, and I don't know many people who can admit that to themselves. That's high self-inquiry. Breaking it down all the way to that, in real time and doing it, like actually doing it, seeing it, not just hearing it from somebody and then repeating that. No, apply it to your own life today, right now. There's something that you do that you can get better at. Everybody, because you're a human being. There's something that you can get better at, that you're doing and you know you shouldn't do it. Yeah, most people don't look at that. They sweep it under the carpet and they say, well, it doesn't really exist anyway. Yeah, okay. But apply what I've shared to that. I got hit with the leaf. And there you go. This is self-inquiry. All right, take care.